Well, hello there, and welcome to another of Sethaldor's World of Warcraft guides. This one is going to be on PvE Restoration Druid Specking. So, for picking Restoration, we get Swift Mend, Meditation, Gift of Nature, and the Mastery at level 80 Symbiosis. Symbiosis increases the healing effectiveness of HOTS on a target who has a HOT on it by 10%, scaling 1.5% higher with each point of mastery earned. So, first row, we've got Blessing of the Grove, Natural Shapeshifter, Naturalist, and Heart of the Wild. Gonna grab Blessing of the Grove and Heart of the Wild. Blessing of the Grove because Rejuve is going to be one of the major HOTS that you want to keep up on the target, or on the whole raid even, as long as possible, pretty much, consistently as possible. And Heart of the Wild because 6% more int means more mana and more spell power. Next row we have Reverence, Master Shapeshifter, and Improved Rejuve. Definitely take Improved Rejuve, and it does not only just buff Rejuve, it buffs Swift Mend as well. So you get the increased effectiveness of Rejuve from Blessing of the Grove, stacking with the bonus from Improved Rejuve. It's pretty nice, plus you get the Swift Mend bonus out of it. And then grab Natural Shapeshifter, partly because it will extend the duration of your Tree of Life form by 10 seconds, and partly because it leads to Master Shapeshifter. Next row we have Living Seed, Revitalize, Nature Swiftness, and Fury of Storm Rage. So I'm actually going to grab Master Shapeshifter first because that will provide 4% extra healing. We also have Living Seed, which causes us, when we critically hit, to plant a seed on the target, healing for 10% of the amount healed. It'll bloom when the target receives the attack. It stacks up to 30% at 3 ranks. So basically, you heal them and it happens to crit, so it's kind of like an insurance policy. Here's a heal, and if you get hit again soon, you're also going to get some more healing passively because of this buff on you, kinda. It's pretty cool. It's like a Resto Druid insurance policy. Free of charge, too. And then we have Revitalize, which is pretty nice because it grants the replenishment, and also it allows you to regenerate 2% of your total mana when Rejuve ticks on a target. So having it running on everybody in the raid is awesome, except it does have a 12-second internal cooldown. Also, Life Bloom will grant replenishment, which is always a good thing. We also have Nature Swiftness and Fury of Storm Rage. Fury of Storm Rage is definitely a PvP talent. Just throwing that out there. Next row we have Nature's Bounty, Empowered Touch, and Malfurion's Gift. So, Nature's Bounty is definitely good. Regrowth is a vital heal to have. And also, it helps with your Healing Touch and Nourish in that it'll make your Swift Mend cooldown ready to go faster when you get crits from those two. Which is awesome, because reducing the cooldown on something is very important. The faster you can have it up, the more flexible you are to the situation at hand. And it's very important to be flexible, because a lot of crap can go down the toilet. So, next talent, we also have Empowered Touch, which is also good because it will increase the Healing and Nourish spells healing, as well as it will refresh the duration of Life Bloom on the targets when you do Healing, Touch, and Nourish. So, that's good and bad to an extent, because sometimes you need the bloom off of Life Bloom for 2 reasons. 1, it'll restore some mana, and 2, it'll be a large heal. However, sometimes it's more important to keep that extra HOT ticking on the target, and you'll get the bloom effect, if you will, by casting, say, a Nourish on them, and it'll just refresh the HOT so you don't have to restack the Life Bloom. The only downside to that is you wouldn't get the mana back from the bloom. So, debatable whether you want to pick that up. I personally would recommend it because 10% more healing from Nourish and Healing Touch is awesome for when you need to tank heal. And then, if you're raid healing, then it's not really going to matter because I wouldn't imagine using Healing Touch or Nourish too much in raid healing. Next row we have Efflorescence, very cool new talent that came in with 401/Cataclysm. Wild Growth, one of my old favorites. We also have Nature's Cure and Nature's Ward. Picked up Effervescence, which what happens is when you heal with Swiftmend, a small little patch of green flora and things like that spawn. It's got an 8-yard radius, and it will heal anyone in it for 30% of the amount healed by Swiftmend over 7 seconds. However, if there's too many people in that patch, then it won't be as effective. Beyond 6, it will diminish. But it's really cool because you can plant down... It's kind of like a... if you know anything about priests, it's like a holy word sanctuary from the holy tree. It places a patch on the ground where people go into and it will heal them. It's also similar to the new shaman ability that's coming in tomorrow, the 7th, called Healing Rain, which basically puts down this zone of healing and people can run into it. It's also similar to Tranquility in some ways, except it's not centered around you, it's centered around the person you plant it on. So it's a really cool talent. It's enjoyable, and it provides 30% more effectiveness from Swiftmend, scaling with the number of people who walk in it. So more benefit per point of mana spent. Awesome. Wild Growth, still the same as it does before. 5 friendly party members get a hot on it immediately, which is good. It also still prioritizes, so that is always nice. Next we have Gift of the Earth Mother and Swift Rejuvenation. Gift of the Earth Mother is awesome because it increases the effectiveness of the bloom effect of Life Bloom, and also causes Rejuve to have an instant heal portion to it on top of the periodic effect. So that's nice when you're raid healing as well as tank healing, because I would assume you're keeping your Rejuve up on the target, so the instant heal from the Rejuve on top of its dot is nice. It's almost like an instant regrowth, just a little weaker. And then the increased bloom effect from Life Bloom is especially nice when you're raid healing, because you could do 2 Life Blooms instead of 3 to conserve mana, and you'll still see a larger amount of healing done, depending on the situation that you're sitting in. And then Swift Rejuvenation was the other talent we picked in this row. Pretty standard, reduces GCD of Rejuve by 0.5 seconds. Shorter GCD means faster application of Rejuve on multiple people. So that's fantastic for picking out everybody in the raid when you're hotting up to run in. Or, for example, prior to a Bone Storm on Marrowgar, you could really push out those Rejuves nice and easy because of the reduced GCD. Next, we are going to backfill, and I would recommend grabbing Nature's Cure, which allows our Remove Corruption to also remove a magic effect from a friendly target. And finally, we get Tree of Life. This is not a constant tree form now as it used to be, not like cat, bear, anything like that. It is a temporary buff. It is a primary cooldown that lasts 30 seconds. It increases your armor and provides 15% additional healing done to the spells Life Bloom, Wild Growth, Regrowth, Entangling Roots, and Wrath. Which is awkward because Entangling Roots and Wrath do not cause damage or cause healing. So that is Tree of Life for you. And now we can access Balance and Feral Combat. However, there are a few things in Restoration that I would like to point out would be a good idea to pick up. We have Nature's Ward, which is definitely a PvP ability. We also have Malfurion's Gift, which is pretty darn cool. Whenever you heal with your Life Bloom spell, you have a 4% chance to cause Omen of Clarity. Now, assuming you're using Life Bloom in your raid healing setup, you could have Life Bloom on potentially 10 different people. So 10 times 4 is 40%. So if you have at least one Life Bloom on all members of the raid at any given time, you have a 40% chance to grab Omen of Clarity, which is still the same as it was before, only it is for all specs now and provides essentially a clear casting state of 100% reduced mana. So I would personally grab Malfurion's Gift on top of everything else. We also have Fury of Storm Rage, which is a PvP talent. We have Nature's Swiftness, which is quite nice. It will reduce the cast time of the next nature spell you cast by under 10 seconds to instant. So it's nice to pick up, especially when you need to be on the move. You can throw a Regrowth, Nourish, or Healing Touch on someone. Debatable whether you really need it or not for a pro spec. Some people would say, oh, you have to have that. That's so vital. Honestly, I could definitely see someone being able to heal bosses without Nature's Swiftness. It's a nice safety net, though. I'm not saying don't get it, I'm saying I personally wouldn't get it. And then also in the first row, we have Naturalist, which reduces cast time of your two chunk heal spells, Healing Touch and Nourish, by 0.3 and then 0.5 seconds. If you know you are going to be assigned to be tank healer, I would greatly suggest, getting this talent. You need this talent if you are going to be guaranteed a tank healer. However, if you have a paladin in the raid, you may not end up being tank healer if it's a pally healer. So if you have a set raid group that you're going with, it's vital to know what role you're playing and then build your spec as far as a Resto Druid would go. And this applies to most specs. Know what your raid composition is and build your spec around it. For example, these 2 points you would take if you were tank healing, as well as I would recommend Nature's Swiftness if you were tank healing. Also, if you're tank healing, maybe don't take Empowered Touch. Even though you'd lose the 10% increase, your life blooms would guarantee bloom. So you kind of want to build your spec around the role that you know you're going to take. Maybe don't take Swift Rejuvenation if you're not going to be primary raid heals. Just an idea. You want to really say, hey, do I really need this over this? Even because I'm doing something different, you know? Anyway, we have 3 other points to spend. We can look in the balance tree where we can pick up Nature's Grace, which is not a bad idea. We could also look at Starlight Wrath and Nature's Majesty. And then in Pharaoh Combat we have those. I'm going to grab... I'm going to grab Fur for 15% more mana, which is awesome, because more mana means more healing. Things you might want to look at picking up in case you don't like Fur would be... Nature's Grace isn't a bad idea, because when you cast Regrowth, you could gain haste. I would definitely, if you find yourself having a lot of mana issues and 15% just isn't enough, when you get the extra 5 points from being able to reach level 85, I would say take the 3 out of Fur and push down to second row balance Moonglow, which reduces the mana cost of all spells by 10%, I believe it caps out at. Maybe even look at Genesis, which will increase the healing done by pretty much all your spells with the exception of Nourish and Healing Touch. So there's a lot of nice stuff you could pick up in balance, but in short-term returns, as in right now, the 15% maximum mana would be awesome. However, tomorrow, when everyone can hit 85, and when you do hit 85, I would highly recommend pushing down to Moonglow and Genesis with these bonus points. So that is my opinions on PvE Resto Druid specking. Thank you for watching. This has been Sethaldor on the server Blade's Edge in the Guild Sacrilege on the character Taladorna. I cannot wait to make another one for you guys, and if you enjoyed it, please subscribe, refer me to friends, as well as thumbs up and leave a comment. If you disagreed with any of this or said, yeah, I think that's a better idea, feel free to put that in the comment section below. However, please make sure it's polite and constructive. Thank you for watching, and again, I really enjoy making these videos for you all, and I really can't wait to make another one for you. See y'all next time.